All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
All
Shalom.
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 right, we the Young Lions. All right, from Great Millstone, New Orleans branch, coming at you with a live lesson. Prior to getting started, we like to give all glory, honors, and prayers unto
Yahweh
Yahweh.
Yahweh
Bahashim
Bashim
Yahweh Shai
Yahushua
Bashim
Bashim
Rakadash.
Rakadash.
Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom. All
Shalom.
Shalom.
right, and pretty much, what we're gonna get into within this live lesson. All right, we're gonna get into some current events, man. Okay. Now we at the beginning of the year, man. All right, is what January the 9th. All right, and so many things have been happening. Okay, this has been already a very prophetic year. Okay, and we just at the forefront of this year, man. All right, so we have a lot of things going on, and we have a lot of big things, okay, to look forward to as far as prophecy is concerned. All right. So first and foremost, the shy, you can give me that St. Matthew's the 24th chapter, man.
Come.
Somebody hold on deck, or the Habakkuk 2 as well, man. Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, starting at verse 6. It says, And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of war. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet.
All right. Hey, and all across headlines, all right, on all of these news platforms, you seeing war, man. Whether it's with Iran, okay, whether it's rumors of war with China, okay, the US, Russia, right, Venezuela, okay. You're seeing these things come into play. All right, we seeing these things come into pass, man. All right. These are the signs and the times in which men that were before us were waiting to see. Okay. These are the signs of the coming of our Lord Yahushua, man. All right. Keep going now.
Verse 7, it says, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places.
Right. It says, verse 7 says, For nation shall rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. All right. Hey, these nations, especially with this move that Trump made with basically kidnapping, all right, a president, all right, the Venezuelan president, man. He's drawn a line in a sand, so to say. Okay, he has started to divide, all right, alliances and allegiances with other countries, even within his own house, man, within NATO. You see, that's a you know, Jake might see that and say, hey, that man Trump crazy, but ultimately you have to understand that he just did a major move. That was a power play, man. Okay, all right, he just drew a major line in the sand. You see, and that's gonna ultimately draw strife. All right, it's gonna make strife with the other countries, man. All right, they're starting to see this devil for who he actually is. Well,
Verse 8, it says, All these are the beginning of sorrows.
keep going.
Verse 9, Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake.
Con. And it says all these are the beginning of sorrows, right? So meaning these things are marking the end, but it's not the very end. You see, yes, these things are happening, but we understand that prophecy, well, it's like within prophecy, there are certain things that must happen, first before we get out of here, man. All right, before the chariots, before Yahweh Shai come, all right, we must see what the MOTB, okay. Then we must see what World War III, man. Okay. Ultimately, there's steps before all right our departure from this wicked hellhole, man. Anybody got something before we keep going?
Yeah, I got an article to back you up.
You got it.
Yeah, this is you were speaking about the whole Venezuelan thing.
Right.
It's just a few hours ago. It's not even a day old. This is from Newsweek.com. It says Trump says the U.S. will start hitting land target cartels running in Mexico. All right, we know he been talking. Him and the actual president of Colombia. They've been having a going back and forth. You got him saying, "Oh, if Trump wants to come get me, let him come." But now you also got Trump saying that he's about to start running, land operations, against these cartels in Mexico, man. You know, that's the wars and rumors of wars. All right, you're actually getting to see the U.S. military, all right, against the Mexican cartel, all right, and it ain't gonna be no cakewalk, man. You know, the elder going to the story about how he had a friend of his that was living in Mexico, right, and he'll tell you, right, in the areas of Sinaloa and different places, how they have hours long gun battles, all right, not a few seconds or a minute, but hours long, you know. And so hey man, this thing is getting it's getting real heavy and real quick, But you got it. I want to read it a little bit too. It says President DT Trump told Fox News host Sean Hannity, in which they had like basically a little sit down last night, Thursday night, that the United States is going to start now hitting land in its fight against drug cartels, framing the move as a response to what he claimed is cartel control of Mexico and the U.S. debt toll in a 300,000 range every year, you know. But it says also hitting land remarks signals a possible escalation from the administration's maritime focused counter narcotics campaign into operations that could potentially touch Mexican territory or cartel linked infrastructure, an outcome that will raise major questions about sovereignty, congressional authority, and blowback along the U.S. Mexico border, and it'll definitely, if I could say, backfire, on the U.S. because you'll make an enemy, all right at your southern border, man, in which we understand that, what is it? The land of unwalled villages, we understand that's getting ready to happen too, you know, that this place is getting ready to be invaded by these other countries, man, but you got
But,
it out.
but why though? It's the pride of this place, man. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pride. This guy is no better than any of these other guys. Other guys in the past, mafia bosses, right? Drug lords, whatever you want to call them. He's the same. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He can't be satiated, right? How can you go into someone else's country and say, hey, you're not running your country correct? Right? We went into that last Saturday. Okay. But even with this, what you going into Sinaloa, Mexico, okay, New Mexico, man, listen, you can't go over there. Really, they don't operate the same way we do, man. All right. And if Jake don't know, when you go into the Sinaloa cartel, man, they one of the if I think it's one above them, but they're like the second strongest cartel in the world, man. All right. And those guys, they don't play by the same rules. All right. So it's gonna be it's like the brother said, it's gonna be some hell, man. Okay. They're not easily taken over. But I know you had something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add along with it because this type of warfare that's soon to be happening is something that really hasn't happened in
Right.
America, especially something that's like right in our backyard. So this is not something where it's a large body of water. Like this is all considered the same land, and pretty much you could say that they have a lot of those northern tribe already here in the land. So
Mm-hmm.
Right.
it could lead to a lot of things, to T attacks, so-called T attacks, because basically they're not Americans, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so forth. Like the battle is going to be real up close and personal. But that's all I
on
want
the
to say.
on on a larger scale, it could lead to them closing the border. You know,
That's right.
ultimately, it's just no flights out. Everything has to stay domestic.
Mhm.
That's why I say it's a lot of things that play into a factor like this, because it said that he have a lot of experts that have warned him that military action against cartels inside Mexico could be viewed as an act of aggression and trigger dangerous unintended consequences, including displacement and migration pressure. You know, and that'll be catastrophic, man. On top of what he just did to Venezuela. So these devils they on their high horse, thinking that they goddamn invincible, man.
Mhm.
But y'all brothers got it.
Anybody want to bring something out before we continue?
I just wanted to add to a point one of the brother made about the climates of warfare, right? Because they talked about them basically going to a jungle, okay, and the only people that really train for the jungles in the U.S. forces is the berets and the Navy SEALs, okay, and anything pretty much outside the confines of that they don't really train for it in the U.S. They actually have to fly over to, I believe, Hawaii, okay, where they create a course, that's a jungle like atmosphere for certain people, so they're not going to really be prepared for that type of warfare. They haven't really seen it since I believe it was, what is that, Nam or
Yeah,
whatever. They don't train for that type of stuff. They do train for desert and urban area, but not jungle. So
con. And then personal accounts, man. Listen, the American army, is full of, those LGB whatever's, you know what I mean,
Alphabet community.
alphabets, right? And you talking about going against actual trained, you know, guys with vendettas towards America, man, and what they've done through history, that's actually gonna fall on their sword,
Mhm.
you know. But yeah, if a brother got a precept, you could bring it out, or we'll grab some. I'll get you to
I
get that
have
out.
some. I let
Go ahead.
one of your other brothers go if y'all don't have nothing.
You
All
got
right.
it.
This is Habakkuk chapter 2, verse
Okay.
5. It say, it also because he transgressed by wine. He is
Really,
a proud man. Let
it's a
me
lot.
start up.
Hey, just start at the top because I wanted
Okay.
to get that anyway.
Uh, it's Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 1. And the headline reads, The Most High answers the prophet. It says, I will stand upon my watch and I will set me upon the tower and will watch to see what he will say unto me and what I shall answer when I am reproved. And the Lord Yahweh answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain upon tables that he may run that readeth it.
That's right. And outside of wars and rumors of wars, okay, we've been you know, do me a favor and answer this text message, bro. But outside of wars and rumors of wars, okay, we've we also got what? The MOTB being talked about, man. Right?
Mhm.
You have that grain of rice that's actually being pushed, okay, that's actually being massaged into society through what? Through AI. All right. The elder Yashuwamba, man, he was kind of just going into it on how close we are to it, right? This thing is no longer, far out. This thing is right up on us. You see? So that's also going into that vision and us making it plain upon tables. Not only is Armageddon, right? Armageddon, right? A prophecy that we're making plain upon tables, the MOTB as well. You see? But keep going up.
Verse 3, it says, For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry.
Right. Ultimately meaning these things in which we speak of, you hear them through the prophets, okay, but a through your different news avenues, right? Uh social media, right? things of that nature, these things are coming to pass. You see, and you can't deny them, man. All right, these things are coming. Now, World War III is ultimately a household thing that's talked about. You see, the advancement of AI is a household thing that's talked about. How it's starting to get scary. That's what Jake's starting to say among themselves. AI is starting to become scary. Yeah, because it's leading you to the MOTB. You just not figuring that out, Jake. You see? But what? Jake gonna wait until it's all the way up on them and they can't even avoid it. They haven't prepared for it. You see? And ultimately, the ones that's gonna, like it said in the second verse, all right, that's gonna run, that readeth it, is the elect, man. All right. That's the ones in which, is our target as prophets, the elect. That's who our message is going out to. You got it from here. All right? Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Verse 4, it says his soul, right, which this it changed paces a little bit, going into the prophecy. So now it's talking about Esau Edom. All right. Verse 4, it says, but hold his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Verse 5, it says, yea, also because he transgressed by wine, all right, which goes into his philosophies, all right, his democracy, all right. It says he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. You see, and that's what
Mhm.
his desire is, to go into these other nations. All right, just like he just went into Venezuela. All right, you got this devil talking about, oh, we just want to make Greenland, all right, the 51st state now. You see, he enlarged it, his desire as hell and is as debt and cannot be satisfied. You see? So, hey man, we know the so-called white man Esau Edom is not gonna be satisfied, all right, until he's had more than he can handle. All right. And still then he won't be satisfied enough, man. You know? It says, but gathered unto him all nations and heap it unto him all people. Brother wanna say something?
No, ultimately he desires, okay, to set his mark, right? And also what? To erect US embassies, okay, different naval bases, and just basically to get his military arms, give it an advantage over the other nations. Ultimately, that's all he care about, man. Okay, the resources and how he can gain advantage on these other nations. He don't give a fuck about the people in Greenland, right? Just as he don't give a fuck about the people in Venezuela. It's all about the resources and the political advantage that he can gain, all right, over everybody else, man.
Hey,
You got it.
real quick. I just did a quick Google search on how many bases does the US have around the world. It says they operate approximately 750 military bases and outposts in over 80 countries.
So a question, a logical person would ask is, how many of those countries have bases here in America? You see? And even if those bases are outside of America, how many of them are not closely being monitored? You see, that are around America. Hey, this
Hmm.
devil would not, he won't allow that. Okay. And that just shows you that he's the devil, man. He has to have total control, total power over the globe, which we understand that power was given to him through Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. So all he doing is actually just fulfilling his role, fulfilling his purpose, man. You know?
I got one more verse in that
Yes.
Habakkuk too.
Con, you can get you after that too.
Con.
Go ahead, up.
Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 6. It
Mm-hmm.
says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe unto him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to him that laded himself with thick clay. You got it?
Yeah, Shalakia, because I got the brother with an article, okay, going to what Well, he gonna go into it. He gonna go into it. You know, because hey, and first and foremost, it says what? It says, "One to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which that thick clay, if a brother can grab that in the Strongs, right? Just to get the edification on it, is ultimately going into depth, man. All right.
Heavy debts.
This devil, he gains depth and doesn't repay it. You know, he rather fight his way out, man. But if a brother can grab that word before I get this brother to get the this article.
I just wanted to make a mention real quick.
Mhm.
When they invaded Venezuela, basically the Chinese consulate say they got 72 hours to
Right.
basically undo what they was doing, man, taking the oil and the resources, or they basically was going to have the U.S. Because China holds a lot of U.S. Treasury bonds, right? A lot of their bonds, so to speak. Okay, so basically, long story short, they're since America weaponized their own money, they're gonna use America's own money against them, right? And give them back the treasury bonds, which will basically make them so-called debt-free. Say, hey, look, we don't want your money, we don't need it no more. Okay. And what's gonna happen with that is gonna make society, right, go into so-called hyperinflation,
That's right.
overnight. So nobody will be able to afford anything, but you guys got it.
No, that's a heavy statement you just made, man. And that's a heavy statement that China made to the world as well, man. Okay. We're finally seeing other countries actually stand up to the bully of the earth. Okay. But what our people ultimately, Israelites don't understand is what? There's consequences with these things. All right. And like you said, one of the consequences is hyperinflation, shrinkflation, okay? Different depressions, okay? Jake thought they saw something in the 1920s. Wait till you see it now, man. All right. We coming into a time where, like the scripture saying, Daniel the 12th chapter, a time like no other. All right. This is going to overshadow everything. I know you got some. You want to bring your precept out, or
because it's going into what you're just saying right
Go
now,
ahead.
and the topic alone. This is Joel 3 and 9. It says, "Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong."
So real quick, what is a pruning hook? Okay, it is a tool for cultivating. It's a tool for husbandry. All right. It says beat your plowshares into what? Into spears, right? Okay. And it says your pruning hooks into swords.
Vice versa. Beat your
Right.
plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears.
That's right. So take all of your tools that are used for cultivating agriculture, right? All your tools that are used for husbandry, right? Growing and producing and making those things into what? Weapons of war. All right. So all of your factories that produce those things, they're gonna stop doing those things and make what? Bullets, ammunition, warheads. Okay. What you call those things, man? Humvees, right? Armor, those things, man. They're getting suited for war. These different nations are getting suited for war, man. Go
If
ahead.
I could add to you, and it's basically at this point in time, tensions is high everywhere. All right. And it's to the point that, a lot of these nations is just so aggravated with America. Like it's to that point where you don't even want to hear them breathe. You know what I'm saying? Just their existence as a whole pisses a lot of nations off. But it says at the end, let the weak say I'm strong. So a lot of people is about to actually go with their move. The people who you would have never thought of that was, about that and willing to go to war with America is going to gather together with the other smaller guys, and they're going to, blast at this horde,
If I can say real quick, because ultimately, America, She got her shit off with Hiroshima and Nagasaki, all right, and she kind of been doing her thing a little bit, right, in different countries, and had these other nations afraid. You see, but at some point, right, all of these nations have come together and they're gonna say, hey, this bully must go down. She's bullying me too. You see, and that's gonna be the turning point, man. All right, that's when all of these nations are gonna turn against the whore.
Yeah.
All right,
And it says it too.
go ahead.
Verse 11, it says, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, the fats overflow, for that wickedness is great. All right, which we know is at the end of the day, which is going to be World War III, man. All right, World War III is in the scriptures, is in the mix of happening. All right, and this is all for all of these nations to fight against the whore, and for the Lord to come and just overtake everybody at the end of the day, you know. But you brothers got it.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all brothers holding something?
I got a precept.
Go on, same
I
thing.
got that thick clay for you if you wanted.
Say it again, Doc.
That thick clay.
Thick clay.
Yeah, get the thick clay for Baga Shah.
Con, this is Strong's H 5671 aptite, and it goes into weight of pledges, heavy depths.
Yeah, you know, and I got the brother to get that, you know, for edification's sake, okay, because hey, this devil, he pledged to what? To repay these debts, all right, to you know, ultimately get these people part of the you know, they're part of the contract, man. All right, whatever contract in which they promised these people, and he doesn't. You see, but no, I just wanted to get that for edification's sake because I did quote it. But we'll start at the top. But now you could come out with your precept and we'll go Judah Kazak next. Go ahead, you could break it down too, Ak.
You on mute, up.
Oh, sorry. I was holding that. I was holding. It's like a precept upon like how the Lord's gonna control these nations and make them put an evil thought in their mind.
Just bring it out, brother.
Yeah, just bring it up.
This is Ezekiel chapter 38, verse 10. Thus said the Lord, Yahweh Bashem Yahshai, it shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up. That's verse 11. And thou shalt say, I will go up into the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest and that dwell safely, and all them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates. And basically I brought that point out because like these nations, the Lord, he's gonna put these nations, he's gonna rouse them up. He's gonna make these nations shoot these missiles upon America and destroy this whore. Because America's been bullying these nations and having their way with them. So, you know, the Lord, he's gonna repay them back.
Yeah, you know, ultimately the Lord said what in verse I believe that's verse 4, right? Where he say, you know, that he gonna put the hooks in the jaws of Magog, man. All right, which is going into Russia. You see, and he basically gonna bring them back into that ancient Soviet spirit. Okay, because at one point in time, hey, them Russians, hey, they want nothing to play with, man. All right, they've seen war, they've had war going on their soil, right? When you go into like, man, they got videos of Putin riding horseback with no shirt on
Yeah.
while it's cold out, bro. Look,
Yeah.
hey,
Why it's snowing?
while it's snowing, like a gladiator.
Yeah.
You know, Jake
Mhm.
playing games, bro. But really and truth, hey, that's some mighty shit for a leader to do. Imagine Trump riding a fucking horse, man. You can't see it. You can't picture it. But they can actually see their leader, mounting up on horseback. Okay, and I just bring that out because that's they're actually fighting for something. They're not bullying anybody. All right, they're defending not only themselves, but what? Other countries, okay? Other nations, man. They're teaming up with other nations. You see? You want to say something, Mark?
Yeah, because that brother. I want you to read verse 12 too. You know,
Yes. Yes.
because you know the land of them unwalled villages. Speaking chiefly about the main alliance, America and Israel. All
Come.
right, and which coincides together, man. You know, and you're actually gonna have these nations. All right, that's against America, right? BRICS, Russia. It even tell you in around like the fifth verse, Persia and Ethiopia with them. All right, which the modern day Persians is who? The Iranians, man. All right. It tells you that this is a prophecy that's going to be fulfilled. All right, and that the Lord is going to put this evil thought, all right, chiefly, all right, on Russia, all right, which is the head, Russia and China, which is the head, of the enemies, all right, those that are at enmity with America, man. All right, he's gonna put that evil thought on them to do what? To go ahead with this, the jump start WW3, man. You want to say something?
Yeah, ultimately to push that button, man.
Yeah.
Okay. That's really the end all be all. It's gonna come to a point in which both sides are gonna say, you know what? Fuck all that. I'm tired of fighting. And they're gonna start pushing them buttons, man.
Hmm.
Russia just, gonna just say, fuck it, man. I'm pushing it. We come this far, let's push them buttons. You know? Go ahead, huh?
Yeah, they go. I got a precept to back up what you said
Go
too.
ahead.
You want that brother to finish that Ezekiel 38?
Con.
Verse 11, Ezekiel 38, verse 11, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls and having neither bars nor gates.
With verse 12, huh?
Verse 12, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land.
Yeah, and that's ultimately what's gonna happen here in America. All right, this place will be invaded, man. All right, a beautiful representation of that is what Red Dawn. Okay, amongst other movies,
Mhm.
right? Red Dawn, you had what the so-called Chinese, right? Paragliding in and ultimately taking over your major cities, all right, your major metropolitans, and taking them by force. All right, why? Because this place dwells in great pride. All right. They believe that no other nation can come here on American soil and overtake them. You see? But they don't even fight on the same stance as these other nations, man. These people got something to prove. Okay? And the Lord is going to put that fierce spirit upon them to do such. But you had a precept, huh?
Yeah, just to back up, real quick, just to back up what you were saying,
Mm-hmm.
about the Lord putting that spirit on them. This Revelation 17. I'm gonna read 15 to 18, and you got it out. Revelation 17 and 15, and he said unto me, the waters which thou sawest, where the horse sitteth, are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues,
Mhm.
and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire.
Yeah,
For the Most High. Yep, you got it.
if I can say real quick, and that's ultimately going into what we was talking about the other day, right? With the whole Greenland situation, you know, that ultimately America, which Trump is making a statement saying what? He's willing to put it all on the line, man. And what did Denmark say? You're gonna break the basically their agreement, okay, with NATO, man. All right, by overtaking Greenland. You see? Go ahead, huh?
Yep, I still got that article for you too.
Yeah,
This verse 17. Okay. Verse 17, it says, "For the Most High had put it in their hearts," right? What's
mhm.
your heart? The Greek word goes back to the Hebrew word la'ab, man. All right, which is their mind. So the Most High is going to put it in their minds. It says to fulfill his will, all right, and to agree and give that kingdom unto the beast, until the words of our power shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. You got it.
And who is that? America, man. You see,
Absolutely.
who is that's nobody but America. That's who reigns over all of these other nations, all right? All of these other countries, okay? And she do it by brute force, and she's boasted up by what? By pride, okay? What she say? She say she's that she will never be a widow and never sit in the dust. Roughly paraphrasing, okay?
Brother gonna have to get that in Isaiah
Con,
47.
What
Con,
about
I
the
was told that.
Okay.
I think Hezekiah got it.
Con. This is Isaiah. Let me see. I'm gonna start at 47, and I'll start at 6 points and like 8. It's Isaiah 47 and 6. It says, "I was wroth for my people. I have polluted mine inheritance. I've given them into thine hand, and thou didst show them no mercy. Upon the ancient hast thou verily heavily laid thy yoke, and thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever. So that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart, neither didst
Salakia,
Mhm.
real quick, you could read one and then jump down to where you was at in 7, Baba Shah.
Because
Con, con,
if I could say on the header for mine, it see the Lord's judgment upon Babylon, right? Which we understand, it's talking about Babylon the Great. Okay, go ahead, huh?
con. This is Isaiah 47 and verse 1. It says, Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground, there is no throne, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate.
Want to say something, Kushab?
No, you got it.
Yeah, because ultimately, a sitting in the dust represents what? Confusion, man.
Mhm.
Okay? To be confused, all right, to not know where you're going, man. You see, it says, "Oh, daughter of the Chaldeans." What were the Chaldeans known for? Witchcraft, sorcery, idolatry, magic, man. Okay, and ultimately, when you break down shit, 90% of the shit that's going on in America, it ultimately goes back to what, man?
Yes,
Witchcraft.
bro.
Witchcraft.
Come
Mhm.
on, man. This is the place that it's talking about. It says, oh, virgin daughter of Babylon. Why is it referred to as a virgin daughter? Because there haven't been any foreign enemies here on American soil waging war. Okay, but this is the time in which it's gonna happen. You see, this gonna happen in our lifetime, Akim. All right, and those that's listening, this shit gonna happen. We're gonna see it with our own eyes, man. All right, go ahead, Ak. And you can break it down
Con,
too, Kai. Go ahead.
con. Jump into verse 7, and it says, And thou saidest, I shall be a lady forever, which that's just backing up what you was talking about, right? Basically America not being militarily penetrated by foreign forces, man, right? But you also mentioned the movie, Red Dawn, right? And in that movie, that's all that was going on was all kinds of foreign troops, being laid out all over the soil, man. And remnants of people, trying to fight back against these foreign troops, man. You know, it also says, so that thou didst not lay these things to thy heart because of their pride, right? And it says, neither didst remember the latter end of it. It says, verse 8, it says, therefore, hear now this, thou that art given to pleasures, because that's all Babylon produces is folly, madness, wickedness, and pleasures to the flesh, man. It does nothing for the spirit. Okay. And it says, that dwelleth carelessly, okay. And everybody knows, well, brothers know that, the scriptures that pursues back to Isaiah the 32nd chapter, where it tells the people, say, the daughters that are dwelling carelessly, people that are at ease, right? Because all the fun and all the things that they could do within society, man. Well, that time frame is basically going out the window, man. You're not going to see that anymore. Okay. And it says, that said in thy heart, I am, and none else beside me. I shall not sit as a widow. Okay. And it says, neither shall I know the loss of children. Right. And that's how these devils think, man. All right. The scriptures tell you that their houses will basically continue. They believe their houses will continue from generation to generation. Right. Their wealth will be passed down. Okay. Well, the Lord's got other plans for them, man. Okay. Now we're going into basically, the kingdom of heaven, Yahweh return, the elect ruling. Okay. These people aren't thinking about that, man. All right. But
Keep going, Doc.
keep going. Okay. Verse 9, it says, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood. They shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Right. So the Lord is going to do what? He's going to bring what we call he's going to bring what we call unaliving to perfection. Right. That's why we go through Isaiah the 63rd chapter, and he talks about his garment being stained with blood, so to speak. But it's just really going into the amount of unaliving the Lord will do to these other nations, man.
Yeah, and it's giving you a reason in which these things are going to pursue, man. Okay. Not only for the like it said in verse 6, okay, the heavy yokes, that this devil has laid upon our people, right? The so-called Negro, the Latino, and so-called Native American, but also because of her whoredoms. And it says, what else? Oh, the multitude of the sorceries, man. Okay, keep going, now. Verse 10.
Con,
You can stop
verse
at last one.
verse 10, it says, for thou hast trusted in thy wickedness. Thou hast said, none seeth me. Thy wisdom and thy knowledge, it hath perverted thee. And thou hast said in thine heart, I am, and none else beside me.
Yeah, and ultimately, these devils do wickedness and secrecy, right? Within the different bohemian groves, right? The different places in which they consult with the wicked manner amongst themselves, right? The different leaders of the earth, okay?
Right. Skull
And
and
they,
bones.
yeah, right. Different
Mhm.
secret societies, man. All right. That's going into their knowledge and their wisdom, which it ultimately isn't knowledge and wisdom, all right, because it's wickedness. It's not true. It's not true wisdom. Okay, that's your upper echelons, your elites, all right, those that run the earth, man. Okay, but they do these things in secrecy, in which they believe that they're gonna get off the hook because no one see it. But the angels are writing this shit down, man. All right, the angels see it. Okay, you got different and I always get this word mixed up, but those that have been amongst them and they speak the truth in which they seen. All right, they've been a part of these different different parties and gatherings, and they start to speak the truth about what they seen. All right, it's being brought into the light. But nevertheless, I know I'm gonna get you to hold what you got, because I know a lot of them brothers got some scriptures. Judah Kazak, I know you had something. You bring it out.
Yeah. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 1, and it reads, "Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morn is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hand." And we seen that this devil, the power is in his hand. This man has the power to go to another country and snatch a rule up and bring him back over here and hold him captive, man. And we seen backing up that brother Shah read Revelation 17:16. You know, these nations are tired of this bitch, man. And they got it talking amongst themselves and they gotta put this bitch in a place. Cause the power, they tired of, you know, this hammer of the whole earth, they tired of this bully, bro. This she finally has to get put in a place, and this Lord is putting the spirit of war in these rulers' minds of, well, man, we gotta do something about this. You know what I'm saying? I got verse 2. It says, "And they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage." And we seen all this devil do is grape, steal, kill. You know what I'm saying? Covet. You know what I'm saying? He has to get put in his place, man. This man has a bloody rulership, oppressive, afflicting people. And like I said, man, this devil, he got to get put in his place. And then these nations are discussing that amongst themselves. You got it, huh?
Yeah, not only do he, I'm gonna get you to give verse 3 as well, but not only do he oppress a man in his house, but he oppress your heritage too. All right,
Yeah.
he tell you what you believe in is not, all right, it doesn't meet his standards. Okay, ultimately, you have to believe in what he believe in. You know, but yeah, it's all good. Siri tripping. Go ahead and get verse 3 out.
Con, book of Micah, chapter 2, verse 3. "Therefore, thus saith the Lord, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which ye shall not remove your nets, neither shall ye go wholly, for this time is evil."
That's right, man. You know, and they ain't gonna be able to remove their necks. Okay, they can't escape this judgment that's coming. All right, just like we couldn't escape the judgment that the Lord had for us, and vice versa. They can't escape this one that's coming. You know, but let's go down the line. Azario, you got something?
Con, I got something.
Go ahead.
This Jeremiah 50:24. "I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou wast not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh." And that's to back up what you were saying, that Babylon is not going to be able to get their necks from under what Yahweh by Shem and Hawashai had planned for them.
Read verse 25.
Con. Verse 25. "Yahweh had opened his armory and had brought forth the weapon of his indignation. For this is the work of Yahweh power of the host in the land of the Chaldeans."
Yeah, and you know that's the brother, one of the brother Kaya favorite scriptures. All right, the Lord opening his armory, man. All right, hey, the Lord just gonna unload. He just gonna open the armory. When you open your armory, all right, you bear witness to all your arms, okay, all of your weapons. You see, hey, the Lord just gonna unleash everything he got on this devil, man. You know.
Say,
Yep.
let me go back to 14 on there.
Go ahead.
All right, this is Jeremiah 50:14. No,
Really?
start at 13.
Go to 12.
Because of the wrath of Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, but it
Salaki,
shall be wholly desolate.
hey, I go to
Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put
hey,
yourself in array against Babylon around about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against Yahweh. And they're just backing you up. You said the Lord had opened up his armory and he's gonna let everything out. He said, spare no arrows against their whore.
Doc. Yeah, you right on point. Hey, I was trying to get you to grab verse 12 as well, man. You know?
Come, I go back up.
Yep.
All right, Jeremiah 50:12. Your mother shall be sore confounded.
Who is
He
that?
that bear you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost parts of the nation shall be a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert.
Yeah, and who's the mother of America, man? All right, Great Britain. Okay. Hey, even and ultimately, hey, they have an evil eye against Americans in their own sense, man. Right? They look at Americans as stupid, as obese. Okay, just pretty much. They look at Americans as lesser, even though they are the same. They of the same nation, right? Go ahead. You can go ahead.
And that's why I tell you in Daniel that he had a look more stout than his fellows, man.
Right.
You know, you got it.
You got that out.
Hey, the water for that too. But ultimately, hey, they this devil's own mother is gonna turn on her, right? And shoot missiles here. But that's all you wanted to get in this Jeremiah?
Unless you got something else. I got the Daniel 7:24 if you want to bring that out.
That's on you, Art.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 24. And the 10 horns out of the kingdoms are the 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them. Nah, that's sloppy. I was in the wrong. Was it 24?
Yeah.
No, I was getting the one Kashab had mentioned.
Oh, you talking about verse 20. Get 20. Get verse 20.
Thwada. All right, this is Daniel 7 and 20. And out of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, and before whom 3 fell. Even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look were more stout than his fellows.
Yeah, ultimately, when you go into like the book of Daniel's, man, especially this particular chapter, the 7th chapter, it's giving you a clear description, okay, of basically America and its upbringing and those that surround it, man. All right. And ultimately, that's going into that starting from the Roman Empire, right? This is the revised Roman Empire, man. Okay. But Kushab, you say you had something? I
Yeah, I
can't
had
remember.
to read that other article, but if I could say real quick to add on to you, them 10 heads still going straight into the NATO and the EU, and which is gonna fall, right into that article, we was discussing before we went live,
Yeah, you can bring that bit out.
Uh this is straight from NBC News. All right. It says US allies warn Trump over threats to seize Greenland. European powers were meeting in Paris on Tuesday to finalize security guarantees for Ukraine, but Trump's threats to seize the Danish territory clouded the talks. It says major European allies warned the United States on Tuesday that they would not stop defending the values of sovereignty and territorial integrity following Trump's threats against the Danish island of Greenland. All right, I'm gonna jump down a little bit and get the point. It
Mm-hmm.
says,
I got you. Hold
yep,
on.
it says the Kingdom of Denmark, including Greenland, is a part of NATO, the allies said in the joint statement. Security in the Arctic must therefore be achieved collectively in conjunction with NATO allies, including the United States. This is a quote from NATO. Basically, this is a joint statement from NATO. All right. It says by upholding the principles of the UN Charter, including sovereignty, territorial integrity, and inviolability of borders, these are universal principles and we will not stop defending them, said the statement issued by the leaders of France, Germany, Britain, Italy, Poland, Spain, and Denmark. All right. And all of these nations are part of the NATO alliance, right? So when we read in Revelation 17 that, these nations is going to hate the whore, all right? This is the build up to that. When you have a group of seven allies, all right, that comes in and they make a joint statement, all right, just to come against who? The US, man, you
Yep.
know, and tell you, like, look, we ain't with this, all right? And you had the actual president of Denmark who came out and said that this move would end NATO. All right. And, on another tip, you had Trump said basically, we are NATO,
Right.
without the US, NATO would be nothing. They'd be defenseless, man, you know. And this is the build up, to how prophecy is playing out, but you got a lot.
Nah, yeah, that's beautiful. All right, how you went into that because ultimately America is a part of a group and he's starting to cross boundaries, right?
Hmm.
He's starting to cross boundaries. He's doing what a devil does. He's going back on his word, man. All right, when you're a part of an allegiance, all right, you have certain people that you consult with, and they shouldn't be touched. And what America want to do is touch the people that shouldn't be touched, man. Okay, and that's gonna bring strife. Hey, get that other article that I sent you to your iMessage, bro.
Yep. It says the German, this is from Reuters.com. It says German president says the United States is destroying the world order. It's
Go ahead.
a particular point you wanted me to read in here.
I just want you to grab the first the first little excerpt will be fine.
Okay. It says German President Frank Walter Steinmeier has strongly criticized U.S. foreign policy under Donald Trump and urged the world not to let the world order disintegrate into a den of robbers where the unscrupulous take what they want.
But they did deals with the devil, you see, and now they're starting to see those horns come out, man. All right. And that's why these different nations, not only these other nations that are not a part of NATO, all right, that does business with them, but NATO herself, all right, will turn against this whore. Okay. Trump is fulfilling biblical prophecy. Okay. He's the perfect man for the job. He's proud, he's haughty, okay, and he's boastful, right? He embodies what America is and what America has always been. You see?
Hmm. Hey,
But
he embodies what the elite are,
that's right.
you know,
He the
and
perfect.
and for years, yeah, and for years, all right, they've used America as a whooping stick, all right. Like it says, y'all read Jeremiah 50 and 33 when y'all was in the Jeremiah 50
I believe so. Hold on, let me look at it. I'm right here.
when it talk about the hammer of the earth.
No, we did not.
I'm gonna get it real quick
Come.
I had something to back it all
because
up
that's
on.
that's why it tells you how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder, and that's what the elites have done with America as their military. They've hammered the whole earth, literally, taking everything piece by piece by force. All right, as it says in the Micah 2, you know. So this Jeremiah 50 and 33, it says, Thus said the Lord of hosts, the children. Oh no, that's not it. It's maybe it's 51 and 33. Let me see. If a
No,
brother
that's
know where it's at, let me
It's
know.
20. Let's see. Hold on.
Is it 23?
Yeah, 23.
Yeah.
Okay.
23.
Y'all read that then, right?
say it again. 50 and 23.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
we didn't read it. I read 24.
Go ahead, Doc.
Yeah, this is Jeremiah 50. I'll start at 22. It says the
Mm-hmm.
sound of battle is in the land and of great destruction. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? You got it.
Yeah, and that's ultimately, questions, man. All right, because what? She had boasted in her power, okay? She had boasted in her what? Alliances with other nations, right? But ultimately, like, the elders before us have always said the Lord has this devil in a trick bag. All right. This devil has made moves in which it has basically put a noose around its own neck. Okay, it's hanging. It that's an old saying in the world. Just let them hang themselves, and that's what America did, right? She's cutting off all of her allies by way of what? By way of being too greedy, by being boastful, all right, and being a devil amongst the earth, man. Okay, but
Say similar to the training day with Denzel Washington.
right.
That's basically America, man. Dealing treacherously, with the people around about, and then what happened at the end? Everybody gathered
Came
to
together.
whoop his ass.
Yeah.
So let's get some we'll get these remaining precepts and we'll get out of here. We're gonna go down the line. Now Hoy, you had one to go with this, right?
Yeah.
We'll get you out the way. Go ahead, Doc.
Con. Yeah, I had this one precept and I had a little
You're on
bit of
mute.
information.
No, he up.
He good. We can hear him.
Y'all hear
Oh,
me?
I don't know. I can't hear. That's crazy. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had this one precept and I had a little bit of information. But this Sirach 10 and 8. It says, because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. And that's ultimately what's going to happen, with America, right? Because all the riches they've gotten, all the resources they've, heaved unto themselves, they've gotten it by, bullying these other nations, deceiving these other nations, backhanded deals, right? So that's what's gonna in turn make these other nations what, like you said, like the brother Kushab said, hate the whore, right? And turn on them. And that's just like they got this policy that I had pulled up. I learned about this when I was in high school, but it applies to what we're talking about. It's called the big stick policy, right?
Mm.
Okay, and the AI overview, it says the big stick policy or big stick diplomacy was President Theodore Roosevelt's foreign policy approach. Speak softly and carry a big stick.
Yep.
You will go far, right? And this is just talking about how America goes into these bargaining deals for resources and different things of that nature with these other countries. It says, meaning negotiate peacefully, but back it with the credible threat of military force, which is the big stick, to achieve goals. It says, particularly in Latin America, asserting U.S. dominance and preventing. I don't gotta get that, but yeah, that's pretty much the point. It says, but back it with the credible threat of military force, which is the big stick to achieve goals, right? And that's what America has done, to these other nations, right? They've used they speak softly, come as if they're genuinely trying to actually make a deal, and then use that big stick, that military force to ultimately overtake those other nations, all right, and then control the deal however they wanted to go. But you got it, bro.
Nah, that's heavy. I learned the same thing coming up. I think that was in world history. Is
Yeah.
different accounts in which you can see America going to these third world countries, right? And they act as if they bringing medicines and different things in which that should help the country, but then somehow they start to wiggle their way into politics, man.
Mm-hmm.
Now you owe them, and if you don't pay up, all right, hey, we gonna invade you, man.
Barbara Shop. I can bring this out real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Backing up exactly what y'all saying. This is Psalms 55 in 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, and yet were they drawn swords.
Yeah, and that's the devil for you. Okay, you had want to say something on that? Slide.
Yeah, no, that's like you said, that's the devil for you. You know what I'm saying? He gonna come in there with, you know, this and that and the third, telling you all of the sweet things that you want to hear that sounds good and enticing. But at the end of the day, you know, he has an agenda that he will get across, you know, whether it's the easy way or the hard way, you know, he gonna make it happen. You got it.
Kind of Mott, you could go with Shalaka. Go ahead, Doc.
If I could add real quick, some y'all brothers should look up, understand, or try to learn about is something called the Monroe Doctrine. All right, I'm gonna read you a quick summary. All right, but this is something Trump, you know, he actually said this on record, you know, after the whole Venezuela situation. He said, you know, we are invoking the Monroe Doctrine, right? Which is why he's warning, all right, all these different nations of what he's getting ready to do, you know, and that's cold words. You know, Jake got to catch them cold words, man, because he's telling you in plain what he's getting ready to do. All right, this says the Monroe Doctrine declared by President James Monroe in 1823. All right, damn near 200 years ago, man. All right, it says warned European powers against further colonization or interference in the Americas, asserting the Western Hemisphere was closed to new European ventures and that any such attempt would be seen as hostile to the US, you know? And and he said, you know, you can go look up, you can Google it, all right? You can put Trump Monroe Doctrine, and then a video will pop up. All right, just to show you, all right, the type of warpath that America is getting ready to get on, man. You know, but you got it.
Con. Go ahead, Amat. You still got one.
Mm-hmm.
Con, I wanted to get you know, this Obadiah 1 and read on down to 7 because it's pretty much going to all that we're talking about. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus say Yahweh concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from Yahweh, an ambassador sent among the heathens. Arise ye and let us arise against her in battle. You know, pretty much all these nations, you know, is coming together, you know, to go against, you know, this whole America, you know, because of all the things that he done, you know, to them. It says, behold, I have made thee small among the nations, thou art greatly despised. And that's what we can see right now with America, you know, being looked upon right now. You know, all the nations, you know, gathering their strength, you know, getting bigger and so on and so forth. And it says, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks, whose habitation is high, said in his heart, who bringing me down to the ground? Though thou exalt thyself as an eagle, though thou set thyself amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, said Yahweh. And we can see, you know, today that, you know, America with their pride and all these things that they, you know, feel like they could do and accomplish, you know, they're gonna be brought down low. Verse 5.
Because you know they also put their you know, they satellites and, you know, things of that nature within the stars, man. You know, go ahead, Doc.
Khan. And it says in verse 5, it says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave thee some? How are these things of Esau searched out? How are these hidden things sought up? And you know, when you know these nations come, you know, to you know, attack America, you know, they're not gonna leave nothing, you know, like they say, you know, grape gatherers, you know, I'm saying they'll leave a little bit behind, you know, for others to come pick up. But they say they're gonna strip, you know, Babylon naked, you know, to the bare bone. And it says, all the men of thy confederacies have brought thee even to the borders. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat the bread have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. So, you know, all these nations, you know, they have all these peace treaties and stuff that's going on with America, saying like, look, you know, we're going to work out these deals and all that. They're really plotting against you because of the way you've been moving, you know, these past couple of, you know, times, you know, and you can see that all the nations are getting fed up with this. But that's all I have.
Yeah, you know, they catching on to the trend, man. All right, you've been a devil within the earth. All right, you showed your record shows that you pretty much deceitful. All right, that you deal ill with your business partners. All right, and these other nations, they actually catching on. Okay, which they've been caught on, but when you dealing on such a large level, you can't just make a hasty move. You see, so they've been plotting. I really all through the power and spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, because ultimately the law, the king's heart is in the Lord's hands. So he's making this devil move wickedly against them. I see you had you want to say something, but now
No, I had that like when you had quoted it, but
you can bring it out. Go ahead.
We had a minute. We had an hour 10 too. All right.
Khan, we'll get this last precept from Bayan after Banat get it, and we'll cut out.
God, yeah, this is real quick backing up the brother. This is Proverbs 21, verse 1. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water. He turneth it whithersoever he will.
Right. So these different acts of deceit, treachery, betrayal, being underhanded. Hey, that's the Lord making this devil deal that way. Ultimately, setting up the building blocks to bring him down. Okay. He's the Lord is the author of this devil's destruction. All right. But you got your precept out.
Yeah, y'all just walked me into it.
Mhm.
This is Psalms chapter 50, and what was it? Psalms 50, and so like I lost it.
What it went into?
Come on, 21.
Yeah, 21, but I was starting a little bit up. So when it says something about the wicked, his instruction. Oh yeah, 16. So like this is Psalms 50 and 16. It says, "But unto the wicked, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai said, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentedest with him and has been partaker with adulterers." Which is no righteous, any type of righteous doings, with this damn devil. All right. Anything dealing with wickedness, he's going to be on the forefront of it, and he's going to, dwell in it. All right. But it says, "Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit." All right. "Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son." All right. Which, he said from the beginning in Genesis that, he was going to slay his brother Jacob. All right.
No, you talking about yeah, you're right. Sorry, I'm thinking about way in the beginning.
God, no.
Because even that too, all right, because that devil go back to who? Cain, man.
God.
All right.
Yeah.
But go ahead. He been had a wicked heart, man.
Mhm.
Since the very, very beginning, since Cain. Go ahead, bro.
But yeah, but just that instance, if you don't remember, with the blessings that Jacob got over Esau said in his heart that he'll slay his brother Jacob. But verse 21, which is the point, it says, "These things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Though thoughtest that I was altogether such an one as thyself, but I will reprove thee and set them in order before thine eyes." All right. So all of these things that this damn devil been doing and how he's been operating deceitfully, wickedly, the Lord is going to get his mind right at the end of the day, with these ICBM nuclear missiles and, that slavery that he's going to have to go through, But you got it.
But that was it. Everybody had, anybody had anything else to say before we get out of here? So Lord willing, all right, this live lesson was edifying and straight and to the point. All right, before we get out of here, we like to give all glory, honors, and prayers unto Yahweh. Honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to hopefully elect. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.